Hi, everyone. Sorry it's late tonight. It was a hectic evening. I had a doctor appointment, and I can already tell. Hold on just 1 second. My light's not enough. So I had a doctor appointment, and it was at 5, and I go at 4:30 thinking I'd get out sooner. And I was wrong. I didn't get out until 6:30. So anyway, if you've missed me, hopefully you catch me on a replay, because I know right now is Wheel of Fortune, and I can't compete with Ryan Seacrest. So anyway, so when you tune in here, let's talk. Tonight is about modesty and what you should wear to church. And because women always ask that. They want to know what, do their kids have to dress up? Do they have to dress up? What does everybody wear? So we're going to tackle that. So my title of this is called Modest is Hottest. Almost always, that's usually one of the first things everyone wants to know is, what are you wearing to church? Can I wear jeans? Can I wear, a sweatshirt? Or do I have to wear a dress? So let me start by saying this, and I'll probably get some backlash from some of y'all, but Christians are the church, and we go to a building. So when you go to the building, it really shouldn't matter what you're wearing, because what you are is outside of church 24/7. You're a Christian. So you should always dress appropriately to wear that title as the Christian. So all times we should live our lives that we are reflecting Christ, because we put on Christ when we were baptized and became a Christian. So we need to reflect that in our daily life. Our sole purpose in this world is to lead others to Jesus. And the way we dress does affect the way we think. And so it also affects the way other people think of us. And I know people's going to say that clothes don't really matter, but so it affects the way I say, the way you think. So if you were dressed up in a pair of heels and pearls, and had your hair just right, you would feel more confident, I'm sure, than you would, say, in a stained up t-shirt and sweatpants. Confidence is that feeling. And so, like at a beach, I would be embarrassed to death in a bikini. So there's, but there's some people that's totally confident in it. Some people wear pajamas to interviews and to Walmart. I would not, but, clothes is absolutely about how you feel. You want to dress comfortable. You don't want to be uptight, feel like, so definitely like Thanksgiving dinner, it's a given. I'm going to wear my leggings or sweatpants. That's for sure. It's a mindset. Clothing is always, it's as much as about a mindset as it is anything else. And so you should dress how you would want to be addressed. So I guess and I'm not saying, you have to be dolled up to be a Christian, by no means. You can be a Christian in your sweatpants and t-shirt, but I guess what I'm wanting to say is mostly cover it up. That's the modesty is where that comes in. And I'm going to go to a few scripture, but Colossians 3:12. It talks that, the Lord doesn't look at what people look at. People always look on the outward appearance, and God judges the heart. So he looks at your thoughts and your intentions. And there was a quote I found, which I really liked. It was a lady named Leah Darrow. And it says, modesty is more than just a hymn line. He looks at, it's more than a hymn line. It is an interior disposition that influences not only our dress, but our thoughts and our actions. I am really not liking that light shadow there tonight. Okay, so let me go get Colossians real quick. Colossians 3:12 through 14 says, therefore, as the elect of God. So remember, this is talking to Christians. As the elect of God, holy and beloved, Put on tender mercies, kindness, humility, meekness, long-suffering, bearing with one another, and forgiving one another. And that's all I need of that. That's what we need to be sure we put on. That's, and I'm sorry, I have looked at this stuff and I kind of, in a hurry, switched things around to make them flow better. And I think I've got some of my scriptures in the wrong place, but it'll all make sense, I guess, in the end. So are you dressing revealing to grab attention? Do you want to be the kind of woman that walks down the street and have, all the guys whistle at you as you walk by? Are you one that needs to post revealing pictures on Facebook all the time? Or just constantly taking pictures of yourself because, you want everyone to look at you. That's, just because, and I wrote this down, just because you can does not mean you should. So if you feel the need to look extra sexy, you make sure that it's for your husband at home, in the privacy of your house or your bedroom. And if you don't have a husband, quit trying to tempt other people's husbands by dressing that revealing. If you're too young for a husband, keep it covered up altogether. There is no need for young women, young ladies, to be walking around with everything hanging out. Now, there's one thing to be at a beach, and yeah, you can wear a bikini at the beach or whatever, but I'll get to the point on why this is important here in a minute. I always get to blabbing and I go ahead of myself and then I forget to really get the point across. But I also, while I was researching this, I was reading an article from a father who was trying to raise his son to be respectful of women. And he taught him that when, a lady is revealing too much, to look down or look away. He says, don't even look at it. And so he said that it was sad because his son always had his head down. He said he can't look up. Everywhere he went was, stuff flaunting at him. And he said, modesty means that you have a beauty and power, and you use that to teach men to love you for the right reasons. And I think that's really a pretty good pointer. The less that you reveal, the more that people will wonder. So 1 Peter 3, verses 3 and 4. Let me grab that real fast. For anybody tuning in, I am talking on modesty and on what's appropriate to wear to church. And I explained earlier that we are the church 24/7. So really, dressing appropriate applies at all times. 1 Peter 3, verse 3 and 4 says, do not let your adornment be merely outward, arranging the hair, wearing gold, or putting on fine apparel. Rather, let it be the hidden person of your heart, with the incorruptible beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is very precious in the sight of God. So, now there's nothing wrong with jewelry. Don't hear, that's not what we're saying. Don't make it about, please don't wear just jewelry, but don't make everything about flashy, look at me, I'm loaded with diamonds and rhinestones and pearls, here I am. Don't do that to draw attention. If you want to add some pearls to your outfit or diamonds, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's again, God looks at the heart. So it matters your intention of why you're wearing certain things. So we should really focus more on the inner beauty and not the outward appearance. And one really good backup to that is because Proverbs 31:30, I'm not going there, but I'll tell you, it says, charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. So modesty is about knowing your lasting worth comes from inside, your obedience to God, and not fleeting physical attributes. This was another little quote or something I had found, and I didn't see who had written it, but I get quite a few things on Pinterest, and anyway, it says she was beautiful, but not like those girls in the magazines. She was beautiful for the way she thought. She was beautiful for the sparkle in her eyes and when she talked about something she loved. She was beautiful for her ability to make people smile, even if she was sad. No, she wasn't beautiful for something as temporary as her looks. She was beautiful deep down in her soul. And I think that's what we should strive for. They're right. Believe me, I can see wrinkles as I'm sitting here. Beauty is fleeting. So, and make it more about what's on the inside. Work with that. That's what God's going to see, and God judges those intentions. Let's see, where was I? So I've also got, I did not write down what that scripture was. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in the view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, that this is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good and pleasing, perfect will. So just because everybody is wearing, revealing shorts to school, or and everybody's wearing pajamas to Walmart, we don't have to do that. Like I said, dress the way you would like to be addressed. And if you want respect from a man, or even, listen, ladies, for your peers, because if they think you're dressing, if your friends think you're dressing too revealing, they are not going to want to sit next to you at a church function, because they don't want their husbands looking at you. They don't want their sons worrying about, what their sons are thinking about you. So just because you have it, you kind of put it away for that time and save it, for private moments. And that man that I was talking about a little while ago said, he said, we teach our sons to avert their eyes. They lower their gaze, but what can we do as Christian women? We can leave our guys stuck in a place where there's nowhere left to turn. Proverbs 7 verses 10 and 12 said, then out came a woman to meet him, dressed like a prostitute and with crafty intent. Leading a man to sin is not Christ-like, and it's a stumbling block, as in Romans 14:13. It's stumbling to other men and women, as I was saying, because that the wives are going to gossip about it. Just as soon as you leave church, they're going to say, hey, did you see how low cut so-and-so's, or the see-through lacy shirt so-and-so wore, or whatever. It's going to get talked about. So just best off not to even do it. I wanted to go back up and see something. Why it's sin for the boys and the men. It says, but I say unto you, and this is Matthew 5:28, that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery already with her in his heart. Now, men are men, and they're going to look at whatever you put out there. So keep your brothers from sinning, and don't do that. Just think of that. And I'm not talking just in the building. Again, I'm talking about outside of church. Dress as if you are representing Christ at every moment. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of the life is not of the Father, but of this world. And that's 1 John 2:16. I hate to keep looking at my notes. I'm sorry, but there's a lot to say here about it. And I'm trying to I don't want anybody to feel bad. And I hope I don't, I don't have anybody in particular in mind talking about this. It's just, there's a lot of young women who don't know how to dress. And I just want to make clear to women, you don't have to wear, the best. If all you have is t-shirt and jeans, wear that, come to church. Like I said, you are the church. But come to the building and come to worship in whatever you have. And if, you know, if it was a prostitute off the street and she come to the church, we would welcome her in. And then we would most likely give her clothes. That's just how the church is. We would want to help, and we would just offer what we had. So I just know that. I want to think about, some inspiration. So ideas of what I think would be like classy women, who still are beautiful. And they're famous celebrity women who are beautiful for their, not really their looks, it's their character, how they carry themselves, how they appear to others. So look up like people like, and I know people's gonna hate me for this one, but Melania Trump, I think, is very classy woman. She doesn't have to say a thing. She's stately, and she just pulls it off well. Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, she's always dressed, you know, good. Adele, Jennifer Garner is cute as a button, but you won't see her flaunting everything. She could wear bib overalls and be a darling. Candace Cameron Bure, I don't know how she says her last name, but she does a lot of faith speaking stuff, but she's got a really cute style. And Reese Witherspoon, also another one. But kind of look, I'm not saying you have to copy those women, but kind of just look at some of the things, you know, things are always covered up and they always look neat and presentable. And I would hope that that's how Christ would see me when he comes back, that I've got something on that I am not going to be ashamed of. Although I know he's not looking at that, I still, in my mind, I want to be presentable. And I want to put out Christ's image to others when I'm in the world. So I'm going to wrap it up with that. Colossians 3:17 and 1 Corinthians basically are kind of the same thing. It's do everything for the glory of God. You know, God sees what's in the heart, but our outward appearance is what influences others. And we are here to be an influence. And I just think if you're wearing something just totally revealing, you're not going to have much luck winning a family, especially a family of young boys and, you know, married women. So that's about all I'm going to say on that. I will be here again next week on Thursday. And like I said, I'll talk about anything. If you guys give me a topic or got any questions, you know, throw them at me. I'll come up with something. But the week after, I am going to take a vacation. And I don't know, you know, what's going to be going on while I'm there. So I'm just going to plan on not being on the week after next. But until next week, guys, have a good week. God bless. Bye.